Well, hello and welcome, my Cancerian collective Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus signs. Welcome to your Path of True Love reading for February 2020, or timeless, depending on when you're watching this. I am your reader, Mark Angelo Lyons Mal for short, president of Joining the Circle Productions, professional witch, professional intuitive, and feeling really lovely, really mellow. This is the day of the full moon. I'm doing these readings on February 8th, right? So the full moon will be tomorrow, actually, the 9th. But it's at 2:23 a.m., so I'm doing my magic tonight. So I'm getting my readings done a little early to get them up on the tube of you for you all. I also did finish the What Do I Need reads, if you're new to the channel. For What Do I Need reads are really cool. I enjoy them a lot. A lot of people seem to. For full moon to new moon next, so if you want, just look at what's going on my channel. You can find sun, moon, rising signs for each sign of the zodiac. And if you are new to the channel, please do like and subscribe, because I'm always putting out new content. This is sort of my new full-time job, aside from taking clients, which is great. I've now got clients from kind of all over the world, at least, you know, Western Hemisphere for now, which is kind of cool. Client in Australia, that's kind of fun, right? So please do like and subscribe. I'm making my way to 1,000 subscribers. So that I can do super live chat and all that cool fun stuff. Cool. Before we get into this particular reading, though, this is a general read. Let's get some things out of the way. It's a general read. It's not going to resonate for everybody all the time. Take what percentage that resonates with you and leave what doesn't. That's just the wisest way to do it. But that's also why I always do Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus signs for the Path of True Love reads, so that you can get different informations from different zodiacal perspectives. I am a Virgo Sun with a Pisces Moon. My Virgo Sun interprets things very differently than my Pisces Moon, and also different things resonate than you bring in, right? My Venus in Libra, right? It's very, very different. So I often recommend to people, just check your different signs, right? This works better. And particularly because these are Path of True Love readings. Now, it's in the description box a little bit. The Path of True Love is your spiritual path, right? It's your spiritual path, your healer's path, your warrior's path, your hero's journey. I like to think of it as the hero's journey, but through the lens of your relationships, and not just your romantic sexual ones, all of your relationships, that you become true love. You become unconditional love, an embodiment of fifth dimensional unity consciousness, but through your relationships, because there is a good percentage of us on the planet that have very specific soulmate contracts, right? Things that we came in to heal, and we have people that are going to help us heal, and then there are going to be people who teach us how to heal, right? And twin flame, soulmate, all that kind of stuff. So this isn't necessarily about those contracts. That's why I do a series every month on soulmates and a series on twin flames. They're not the same thing at all. They're both soul contracts, but what they do are very, very different. It's like a screwdriver and a hammer. Hammer, screwdriver and a hammer. Tools, but very, very different functions, right? So this isn't about that. This is about you. Path of True Love is you, your spiritual path for you, what you're dealing with. And how better to do that this time around than with the Celtic Cross spread. My favorite spread. I've read thousands of clients over my career. And I'm not kidding, thousands. I started really young. I started at 12. I'm going to be 52 in September. So yeah, I've read thousands of people. So it's nice to return to the Celtic Cross. And I did a video clarifying how I read the Celtic Cross, because readers do it a little differently from reader to reader. Like, everybody puts the first two cards down in the Celtic Cross the same, but then where that third one goes gets a little weird. It gets a little wiggly. So you'll see how I do it, but if you want more info, just go check out the video I did on it. Just explains it a little bit more and why I love it so much. Cool. That being said, the last thing I always recommend to not just my watchers, my subscribers, all of that on YouTube, but even with my clients when I'm reading them face-to-face, Facebook Messenger, Skype, or face-to-face, even on the phone. I guess we do that now. Breathe, right? You're going to breathe anyway. The breath is spirit, right? Inspiration, respiration. There's no coincidence in those words being so similar. Keeps you in the present moment when you're focused on your breath. Partnering with your breath. I love that idea of partnering with your breath, because then you're really never alone. And since it's spirit, it's prana, it's chi, it's life force, it's guidance, it's grace, if we're all being aware of that, right? Well, I call it finding the still point. When you find the teeny tiny gap between the inhale and the exhale and the inhale, that little still point. It's like ringing a silent bell inside of me, that it's like a touchstone touching into the divine, where the information and energy for this reading is coming from. So if you're doing the same thing, though we are separated by time and space, it's still the same all-knowing now of the divine, right? So just a good idea. So you'll hear me say, but because I'm only working with 4 decks, I usually do them when I shuffle or pull a card from a deck. I'm going to try and do my best to be aware of my breath as I go. So I slow it down a little bit. I give myself about an hour to do these. So let's see how we do with all of that. And if I forget to breathe, please, you breathe for me, right? So I guess that's it. Shall we dive in? We're going to start with the Daughters of the Moon Tarot, 10 cards to lay out the Celtic cross spread. We'll then clarify with 10 cards from the Healing with the Angels Oracle. So we'll have 20 cards in the spread itself, but we're going to finish off with a Whispers of Love Oracle card and a Healing Mantra deck card from the Kahn deck. Cool, cool? You with me? Let's do this. My Cancerians, I love you. Take a deep breath. Oh, let's do some underwater breathing. My crablets, my Cancerians, still point. My gods, please, top 10 cards, Celtic Cross, for this Cancerian collective. Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus signs. Where are they on the path of true love? Show me the path of true love for the Cancerian collective. Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus signs for February 2020. Clean and simple, knowing that Valentine's Day is in there, and that can be a little tricky, even if you're with somebody, not to mention if you're single, the weirdness, the pressure, the social part of it is just so weird, paying way more for a meal than absolutely necessary, price fix anyway, right? So please, my gods, top 10 cards. Top 10 cards, Celtic Cross for this Cancerian collective. Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus sign for February 2020. Maiden, Mother, Crown. Great, we're good. We got them. Hey. Them in order. I'm going to do the same for the angel deck when we get there, but we're going to lay these down one at a time, and I put them on the side so I don't subconsciously shuffle them and screw up the order of the top 10 cards. I did that once, never again. Ready? Here we go, my Cancerians. Get your claws sharpened. The first card down represents you. It's called the cover. So what is the card that covers you right now? Excellent. 3 of Cups. Now, friendly, right? The card is called bonding. So we're looking at emotional bonding regardless of the number of people. Yes, it can be between 2 people. Generally, though, the people want to see that as the 2 of Cups. The 2 of Cups is attraction. Attraction is like, oh, right? Even that intuitive, like, oh, hi. But, you know, it could be a friend. It could be a total stranger. You just get that jolt. The 3 of Cups is that bonding, is that creating of an emotional foundation. 3s for me feel foundational because like a tripod, like the camera I'm doing this on my my HD cam. It's on a tripod, so it doesn't wiggle, it doesn't wobble, it doesn't do the hobble splits. The high school flashback. So you can feel that there's a stability, there's a bonding, but it's a beginning, it's growing, it's building, can be built upon or evaporated, right? Element of water for emotion. Lovely start for you, my Cancerians. Check that empathic solar plexus and second chakra. Feel that bonds, you know, as you go through the rest of this month of February. Well, the situation, the cross, what crosses you is another water card, the Ace of Cups. In this deck, happiness, or at least the potential for happiness. Now, really, psychologically, this may not bear out, but I think spiritually it does. That happiness and joy are our natural state of being now. I will be the first to say the difference between happiness and joy is RPMs, right? It's like voltage. Joy are the natural state of the divinity of who we are, right? It's joy brings tears to your eyes, right? It's not just having a good day, but happiness is from that balance. There's that happy content place, right? There's content, You know, like I'm thinking emotional guidance scale, Abraham Hicks, right? On their guidance scale, there's boredom, the fulcrum of the seesaw. Just above that is content, but then there's that happy content, that place of really radiant from the inside. So there's an opportunity here for perhaps that happy seed, right? Or that this is a happy situation, but a beginning. So you're in a good place. And with the card of bonding, you're not alone. But again, that could be friends, that could be family, but emotional bonds being grown. Yeah, you can meet a new member of your family and have a bond there through the DNA, but then make the emotional bond, the connection in that way. Cool, cool. Let's look at your third position, which I put below, called the core. What's going on not just in the subconscious mind, but even at the soul. You know, we always want to put divinity above us, which is fine. I'm okay with that. The 8th chakra is up there, I get it, and way above. But this divine is within. Everything we need is within. The soul, you are a soul. We are souls that are chosen to be in these bodies, take these names, and play the roles scripted in the divine plan, right? It's like we were cast to do this. So really, this is stuff that the soul knows, though we so identify with the personality and the ego and our problems and, oh my God, our tribal stuff and politics. This is that still point that we're tapping into with the breath. What's at the core? What does the core know? And the core here has the card of the dreamer, which is the card of the fool. Now, keeping the fool, now technically the fool is not the first card of the major arcana. It is the still point. It is that, right? So you go magician, high priestess, emperor, empress, emperor, all the way around, and you get judgment, the world, the universe, then the fool. It's the 0 point. It's the space between the old and the new. So considering you got this going on in the third position, that core, and it's funny how before I even said check your solar plexus and your sacrum chakra for empathic stuff there. That might have been a little premonitory guidance there from them that I might not have caught at the time, because then you're going into the Ace of Cups where you are right now. So the soul is ready to take a leap. Now remember, this is the card of the fool, but a little different here with the dreamer. Rather than jumping off a cliff, she's at the bend of a river with a horse behind her, right? She, you know, mode of transportation, great power behind her, and she's just stirring her finger in the bed of the river, right? Just like a little bend in the eddy, creating a little eddy thing, right? So putting input in, infecting the quantum field, right? Taking a leap of faith, making some kind of change, or at least in contemplation of it, because she could be like, I don't know, is this too cold? I think she would do that with her toe, not her finger, but the fool dipping a toe isn't quite the same image. I get that. Cool. So, really, really lovely. Start off. The first 3 cards tell me where you are. Now we'll look at where you were. The past. What's behind you? What's in your behind? You crabby Cancer. What's in your behind? You know what's in your behind? Another ace. The Ace of Blades, the Sibyl, the Oracle of Delphi. New thought coming in, like a mental download, like from the 8th chakra into the crown chakra into the third eye. This is feeling very third eye. Then what will you do? Will you say it? Will you not say it? Will you chew on it? Will you, if it's a real zapper of a truth, will you bring it into diplomacy? Will you let it penetrate your heart? Will you let it penetrate? You see what I'm saying? Will you incarnate the truth? But don't got to worry about that, at least not yet, because you're still in ace territory here. But we're really looking at a new thought, a brand new concept. Perhaps you have learned something and are still integrating it, not knowing the practicalities, right? How do you ground it into form? How do you really feel about it? Lower chakra, not just the initial reaction that may be going on in the heart chakra. Cool, cool. Or sometimes, you know, Cancerians, you're so, I don't want to say you're so emotional, baby, every time you think of me. But, sorry, Whitney Houston must be in the room, wouldn't shock me. But that thing of getting excited about a new thought, right? Because you do have the Ace of Cups here, which also indicates that there might be a very, very short amount of time between what's before you, the past, and your cross, the present. Just saying. So let's keep building on this. This is very interesting. At this point, with only one major arcana card, but in the third position, the soul position, not really a lot of drama or message so much yet, but definitely a lot of emotion triggered from a thought, and possibly where you are right now is emotionally bonding with others who may be in the same place of understanding, downloading that new thought. Sort of like, okay, just here's the one they're giving me. I have known about unity consciousness for a very long time. I read the Yoga Sutras of Patanjali. Get yourself a good translation. It's worth it. It explains a lot of what we go through on the spiritual path. I got one from Maharishi Sadashiva Ashaya, MSI, from the Ashaya monks. And now to hear it called fifth dimensional. Oh, okay. So it's not like there's unity consciousness and the fifth dimension as separate things. They're the same thing, different way, but it's like, oh. So the third dimension is the lower three chakras, the physical body, the physical world. The fourth dimension is the heart, throat, third eye, and crown. That's sort of the psychological and into the spiritual. That's fourth dimension. Time, right? Takes time to... And then, that eighth chakra is the fifth dimension that we are anchoring it down in. So it might be an emotional bonding of that type of thing with like, right? I always get that with the Ace of Blades. Ooh. But now there might be some, ooh. Right? Like it actually impacts you emotionally. So it's good that you have that emotional bond to share it with, but there is still that feeling of, this could change everything. Let me not be foolish, let me be wise, but I may have to leap without looking anyway, right? I have to do this, right? That feeling, that emotion part of it. Good. Let's get your fifth position above the crown. Now, the crown, there are many different interpretations. I talk about this in the clarifying video. It's like the imminent thing, like a baby being crowned. You can't tell the gender yet, right? But it's just, it's a baby, right? It isn't fully born, it isn't fully here yet, but it's crowning. I like that image. Sort of the immediate future, the next step. So it's not necessarily future, like the card after this one, what's before you on the path, but sort of what's incarnating, what's coming in, and considering we've got this in the past and this in the present, it should be an interesting one at that. So here we go. Crowning card. All right. Court card. Scorpio. Yes, absolutely can involve a person. Court cards sometimes do, but not always. Here we're looking at 8th house energy. So do they have to be a Scorpio, Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus, Sun, whatever? Not necessarily. But what do we know about 8th house? It's about money, sex, and power. Power being a big part of that. Other people's resources. Very second chakra, right? Scorpio rules the genitals. So sexuality and creativity, all that stuff. But this is the goddess Hecate. Hecate, the goddess of the crossroads, goddess of witches, and a dignitary in the underworld, right? So we're looking at that Plutonian Scorpio stuff. So really, by the way, indicating the soul, so kind of connecting into this. So whatever is coming in, whether it is a person sort of doing this sort of, again, money, sex, power, it can play itself out totally physically, it can play itself out emotionally, it is a water sign. But it can also be that what's downloading into you, what's crowning now, is about going deep, about transformation, and perhaps the transforming of these bonds or transforming with these bonds. In other words, people that you can trust with, almost like the nervous system can sense. It's like, okay, now I've got the right alchemical mix of people. Oh, here comes the transformation, right? Almost like it has to, your energy system has to wait until there's a certain balance, there's a certain support in place so that the transformation can take place. I've noticed that happen with myself a lot of times when I let go of people, because you have to let go of people. There's this period of stasis where it's just you, and then people start coming in and there's transformation here. You know what I mean? So it's part of the path of true love, that it's not always people all the time, and it's usually not always total solitude, hermitage either. It's a back and flow between both. This can be a pull inward, but with support, right? In other words, the way I do it is I let people know what I'm going through, but no one needs to witness it. That's me. That's Virgo crossing its legs, right? Not doing videos, you're not going to watch my emotional process. Usually. So let's move on. Position number 6, very interesting. I'm going to keep an eye on that. Remember, we got a whole other deck to clarify these. That's why I'm not like going totally into depth on all of them. Because this is the reading I do for clients. So I use many other decks when I do a Celtic Cross. I bounce around with it. It's great fun. So position number 6, sort of the future card, what's before you on the path. Now, it relates instantly to the 4th position, what's behind you on the path. The 2nd position, the cross, almost like the crossroads, what's before you now on the path. Another court card, but this is the Virgo card, all right? So again, dealing with Scorpio and Virgo. Very, very interesting combo going from the crown to what is before you on the path, because this definitely has to do with what's occupying you. Whether it is a Virgo, Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus sign or not, can be somebody that you become occupied with. 6th house energy is occupation and health, because they are linked. Trust me, as a Virgo, I know this. What you are occupied with affects your health. It's just true. If you're occupied, like I've been learning all this new breath work. I've been doing breath work since I was a teenager. Well, even just through acting classes. I was in the performing arts, we called it back then. So I've learned about breath work, diaphragmatic breathing, holotropic breath, rebirthing. I went through a huge rebirthing phase in my 20s and in my 30s. So you become occupied with that. Obviously, something like that's going to affect your respiratory health, your cardiovascular health. But because of the Gemini influence, it's not the Gemini influence, Gemini and Virgo both share Mercury. The Mercury influence is what I meant to say, is that there can be a lot of thought, right? A lot of thinking that if you're preoccupied, you know that word preoccupied, it's like you're not here now. That really has a direct effect on your nervous system, at least, and then your body chemistry and your emotions. It can really affect your health holistically when the mind sort of goes off on its own in terms of over-analysis, compulsive thinking, looped thinking, repetitive thinking. What are you occupied with? Can this also have to do with your, 9-to-5 occupation? I mean, people are moving out of the 9-to-5 paradigm with the gig economy a lot, but still, you're running your own business that way, then there is a constant, you have to constantly be occupied with it, and it does affect your health. So with this Scorpio card in the crown, transformative information, perhaps what comes from that is that transformation. And again, this is on the path of true love. It's a relationship of some kind to yourself with another person that you become occupied with. And yes, these certainly can be represented by people in your life on the path. But remember, now if I had a client sitting across the table from me, I would pull other cards, say, okay, who is this person? Not to over-identify them, but to kind of fine-tune. In a general read, that's not necessary, because you're all, like, some of you are going to have it as people, some of you are going to have it as experiences, right? So that's how it rolls with general reads. But also I would keep an eye on Scorpionic and Virgin energy right now, at least zodiacally. Keep an eye on that because, well, one is coming, right? 5th position, the crown, and one is what's before you on the path. So keep an eye out for that. Cool. Very nice microcosm. A little vague, I'll give you that, right? Because also we're looking even in the minor arcana, lower numbers, right? Aces, deuces, threes, 2 court cards, and 1 major arcana card, but in the soul position, the dreamer, the fool. That's pretty cool, which also rhymes. The gods are here. Let's get, this is the microcosm, the small universe. Now we do the big one, the macrocosm. Card number 7, position number 7. What's the universe trying to teach you, or as I like to call it, the lesson? What's the lesson in all of this? And our 2nd major arcana card, oppression, which is the card of the devil. Daughters of the Moon Tarot divides it into Coyote Woman and this card, oppression. And I think it's wise that she did it that way, because Coyote Woman is the trickster. It's a different kind of devil in a way. Because we're not talking the devil in this deck at all. That's a Judeo-Christian concept. It's a very pagan deck. This is about the woman under the rocks, right? There's a woman under those rocks, but if you look at the rocks, they're faces, right? They're the people. They're the burdens. They're the things that we take on, the things which oppress us, that we could, stone by stone, remove and walk away. But there's something also to be said with the amount of fire going on there, that there are portals out of that. I mean, you have to really look at the card to see them, but isn't that the case when you're feeling oppressed? How much of it are the belief systems from the world that you've picked up, or your family, or your tribal relationships, like at work, like with your circle of friends? That the lesson here might have to do with transforming blocks, transforming old attitudes, old relationship patterns, like, for example, I've been saying this to people, codependence. Now, right now, I'm single. I'm very happy being single, yes. I'm dating people a little bit here and there, but this work has really taken over my life on YouTube, and I'm really digging it. There's no complaint there. But the best thing about it is I'm not in any codependent, abusive, or neglectful relationships. It's like the best thing ever. So there's none of that psychic weight on me, right? So understand that codependence, abuse, neglect, the things that our ancestors had to deal with for thousands of years, they were necessary for survival when we had to hunt and farm and gather, hunter-gatherer, all that stuff. But we're evolving. So it's not that we are to punish ourselves for these. These are survival mechanisms. I'm sorry, your great-grandparents probably didn't have access to psychotherapy unless they had a lot of money, right? Around, well, great-great-grandparents, how far ago was Freud and Jung when they started writing, right? When they were in the body. So, you know, there's a transformation available here, a lesson that's saying there are chains that are binding you, stones that are oppressing you, weighing you down, but particularly with this card of the Fool, there's a new thing that wants to break through, right? The soul's like, we gotta take the leap. So maybe these are fears. You know, the stones, aren't they usually? Isn't that really the only chains that bind? The chains of illusion. Break chains of illusion and set all things to right. Reveal what has been hidden and bring true love to light. It was just a little spell, I know. Yeah, I know it's a charmed ripoff, but, you know, give me any rhyming couplet, I'll make it work. I am a professional witch. And verbal as fuck. So with the lesson of oppression, like the vessel in the vessel, remember to breathe, right? Remember that this is something that the divine is trying to help you with, right? It's happening to serve you, to help you. It's not a punishment, right? It's about alchemy. It's about really looking at what are the tricks, your self-sabotage, the oppression you allow on yourself, is it time for you to walk away, perhaps from some codependent relationships. Codependency is an addiction, just like alcoholism, drug addiction, food addiction, workaholism. It destroys lives, codependency now. So, you know, people are like, well, but it's just codependency. It's like there are groups that meet because they destroy personal lives, right? They destroy dreams, right? Because you can't do what you want to do. You can't follow your own truth because your choices are dependent upon how other people feel. You can tell, oh yeah, I live that way. No, I don't. So keep that in mind. In Cancerians, that would make sense because you are usually family tribal. Your fourth house, your home. So for you to make for you to have a dream to want to jump, but feel like, oh my God, but what will everybody do if I do that? Yeah, I could feel that. That's just as much a path of true love issue as anything else, a true love lesson as anything else, because you have to learn how to honor your dreams, your desires, your holy fool wanting to jump off the cliff into a new experience for your soul's growth and development, because that's what you incarnated to do. I say to people all the time, particularly when I'm angry, I'm like, I didn't incarnate for you. I incarnated for the all. I incarnated for everybody, but you in particular, no. Don't try and control me. It doesn't work well. Don't lie to me. Don't omit, because I will eventually find out, and the gods will golf ball you out of my life the second I find out, for your safety and protection, apparently. From the outside looking in, the 8th position, how you appear to others, which doesn't mean it's how you are. It could be how they're projecting onto you, but oftentimes this is a great card because it makes you go, oh, that's why they're being that way, because you can't see yourself, or very hard to see how others see you. So, okay, good. 2 of Pentacles. Now, again, another deuce. Oh, you don't have deuces here. You only have aces and a 3. Yeah, and with that, there's definitely a lot of new beginnings here, but where people are seeing you is the 2 of Pentacles, the juggler. I love this card, the bull leapers. These women that would run at bulls, grab them by the horns. I believe it's where the term grab the bull by the horns might have come from. Don't quote me on that. It's probably a farming thing, animal husbandry thing, right? But they would grab the bulls by the horns and flip over them. I believe that's the precursor to the running of the bulls of Pamplona, but, not totally sure. What the fuck do I know? I'm not a historian. I'm an intuitive and a witch. But you get that thing, right, of finding your balance, right? That's why you often even says on the card balance. You find your balance, you go at it, and you do your best, right? Now, grabbing the bull by the horns is just really bad counsel to begin with, but metaphorically it does make sense. Like, find your center and go. So we are talking about finding the balance to make this leap from the outside looking in, if you ask me. But that is how other people see you, finding your balance. Maybe they see you as balanced. But remember, with this lesson of oppression, you might be carrying some extra psychic weight or carrying other people that you can no longer carry and keep this balance. You carry those who can walk, their legs will wither. Ninth position, destiny. Not telling you what your destiny is for February on the path of true love, but telling you, here's a good way to say it, where you are on the path of destiny, on the path of true love, where you are on the hero's journey. That is the path of true love for you. Third major arcana card, the witch. So yeah, there are choices and decisions that you have to make here, different than the card of the lovers, which is a life-changing decision. This is about really being a channel of the divine, but different than the high priestess, right? The high priestess is a channel of the divine that the divine works through in a way that can often be very subconscious. This is conscious. The witch, the magician, in other decks, does this deliberately, right? She's at a cauldron, element of water, with element of fire, heating it below, with a wand in her hand, element of air, wearing a pentacle, element of earth, and drawing down spirit, element of spirit, fire, earth, air, water, spirit, right? So there is a conscious thing here, a choice, a decision to initiate. This is the first card in the major arcana, not the Fool. So interesting that the third position, the Fool, is followed up by the Magician in the place of where you are in terms of manifesting your destiny. Now, there's a difference between fate and destiny. You could look at this as the fate that you are dealing with right now, but taking the action, the will, the initiative. It's a great word, initiative, like initiate, to begin. Particularly with these aces on the table and that card of the Fool, to alchemize, to break the chains of illusion on the path of true love for yourself, maybe even to release that which oppresses you. And yes, possibly through physical means, but also through spiritual and psychological means. It might take all of those, actually, depending on what oppressions you've been carrying that you are letting go of. But that your participation is necessary, that's absolutely certain. Last card down, the outcome. Please do keep in mind the 6th position, in which you have the Virgo card, and the 10th position are changeable, mutable. They're, unless they are really written card, there are certain things that are just fated, F-A-T-E-D. But otherwise, these, you can shift a little bit. It's like GPS. You don't have to go where it's saying, but you have to look at where you are and the choices available. Another 2. Very interesting here. The 2 of Blades, analysis. So a Cancerian analysis in the head, gathering information, the fencers, right? So if you've ever watched fencing or sword play, I dated a stage combat director once, and I never got into any of that stuff with him, but it was really kind of fun watching him act it out in a jockstrap, so fencing and stuff. So he'd be doing all of that, and he would explain to me, so when they do that, to do that and then do that, right? So it can take you right out of the present moment analysis, because you think, well, if they do that, it's like planning, strategizing in a way, but all in the mental field. So be aware of that as an outcome, that whatever this is for you on the path of true love, at least for these 10 cards down, there's still some thinking that's going to be going on about this. So it may not be as cut and dry as the soul might like it to be, with alchemizing these oppressions, breaking these chains. Because though we've got the 2 of Pentacles with balance here, we've also got that analysis there of the mind. So 2 of Earth, 2 of Air, which in a way makes sense. It's like you're getting perhaps your accounts balanced, right? Getting your life together, cleaning the house, getting yourself symmetrical, so to speak, so that you can then really now contemplate, well, if I do that, that looks like that will happen, but all in the mental, right? But that's okay. We're going to ask the angels to clarify each one of these, same as I did before. Actually, I'm just going to move that there on their sliding pieces of selenite. Let's ask the angels, please, a nice deep breath. Still point. My angels, please. Top 10 cards, Celtic Cross, for the Cancerian Collective, Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus signs for February 2020. Please show me where they are on the path of true love. Where are they on the path of true love for February 2020? My angels, please, for this Cancerian Collective, Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus signs, February 2020, on the path of true love, Maiden, Mother, Crown. Lovely. All right, we're going to start clarifying the Three of Cups, the bonding that represents you, the cover, the person I'm reading for. Well, with divine guidance. So it says whatever this emotional bonding thing is, it's being brought together through divine guidance, maybe more intuitional than rational, understandable up here. But then, like I said, with this card, there's such a good feeling about it that this could also be a deeper connection with people where you all sort of get that divine guidance is a thing, right? So it's not just you, like maybe that's part of the conversation here of what brings you together. You're definitely brought together by divine guidance in terms of an emotional bond, perhaps felt more intuitively. You are a water sign, Sun, Moon, Rising, or Venus. So that does make sense, that there is that intuitive pull there. It's like we were meant to be. Now, I think it's hysterical when people go, oh, I know you from another life. I'm like, honey, we all know each other from other lives. I've been around. We've all been around. We've been koalas, we've been eucalyptus leaves, we've been trees, right? We've been everything. So that makes sense. Three of Cups, bonding through divine guidance. It's where you are, but that's you, but where you are, the situation. The Ace of Cups, the angels say spiritual growth. So yeah, like my initial take on that was that there is sort of a clicking here with other people in terms of spiritual growth and development. Look, we're all in phases of spiritual growth and development. That's what planet Earth is for. But it is, you will admit, rare that you come across people of like mind in that way, that you may not all agree that it's all the same thing, but you're all headed in the same direction. This feels like you might all actually agree on certain aspects, like chakras or yoga or witchcraft or prayer or what have you, tarot, divination, that there's something that has guided you together. This feels very friendly still. Again, if something screams romance, sexuality here, I'll usually go for it, but not really seeing that right now. But definitely this might be challenging some of your social norms. In other words, your other friends, your other friends. I had somebody say to me once a long time ago, if you say the word energy one more time, I'm going to rip your fucking face off, right? Because when you're into it in the beginning, it's like, everything's energy, right? Start talking Einstein equals MC squared, right? And people just want to take their drugs and trip out. You know, they don't want to hear about it. It was the 80s. Let's take a look what the angels have to say about this third position card of the Fool, our first major arcana of 3. Well, how interesting. We've got body care. So right now with body care, the Fool, the impulse is get things in order. Get things in order. Very much pointing towards this Virgo card in your 6th position. This thing of, okay, let's get healthy, right? Let's get healthy because, look, I'm not anti-yoga. I do yoga every day, pretty much. Doing a lot of breath work right now, but that doesn't mean my yoga practice is at its full maximum. During the summer, I go outside to do yoga. I go for an hour, almost an hour. Let's not say hours and hours. But this body care, this jumping into it, it's preparing your nervous system for something that's coming. Thank you. That was hard to put into words. That no matter what it is, whether it is getting your act together, cleaning the house, because that's taking care of your body, that it's preparing you for, in a way, a whole new way of living. Now, does that mean you're going to move your home? Maybe, maybe not. But with that spiritual growth and divine guidance, it's a major arcana card. It's saying, get your body ready, right? Perhaps let go of some psychic weight from your body. And I just don't mean physical weight. I mean, like, get some burdens off your shoulder, release some stress, because particularly if this is your lesson with oppression, that would make sense, that there might be some unnecessary stress in the nervous system, giving you the inflamed nervous system, which is really what the ego is all about. It can be too much. Good that you have others to help you heal through this. Let's look at fourth position. Because remember, we've got this Ace of Blades, the Sibyl, right? The Oracle of Delphi, something definitely downloaded in the past. And considering we've got you with divine grace and bonding, and the situation spiritual growth also an ace, this should be very interesting. Remember, we got the Ace of Cups with spiritual growth. So spiritual growth that feels good, right? Feels like happiness. Maybe you haven't felt this kind of happiness in a while or ever, because the spiritual happiness is different than object-dependent happiness. Oh, I got paid, I'm happy. Oh, I had to spend it. No, I'm not, right? You know, up and down, up and down. This might be more of the happiness of spiritual growth. So looking at your fourth position, the Sibyl, what is that information according to the angels? Well, ideas and inspiration. Well, there you go, right? Duh. That's why I love reading these decks together. Really, I've read Daughters of the Moon with the Healing Angels Oracle, those two alone, for clients for decades. Now I'm way more. I use a lot more, like I used to when I was younger. So this is a very, very exciting card for the past, knowing that the information that came through, whatever it is that you downloaded, whether it came through you or through someone else, that could be what bonded you to somebody, the idea, the inspiration is quite valid and absolutely pointing towards that divine guidance and spiritual growth. So there can be that excitement, that enlightening thought. Something as simple as, what if this world is just a video game and we don't really die, we just play lives over and over? What an idea. And that can be very inspiring you to free you from the oppression of fears that you have picked up along the way. You know, just think mirror neurons. If you had a neurotic parent, right? You got those neurons, those mirroring neurons, those chemicals in your body too. Just saying, right? But that's a lot of what we're detoxing and healing from. Which, by the way, let's look at our crowning card. This card of transformation, really. Yes, it's a court card, Scorpio, money, sex, power, other people's resources, an exchange of energy, very second chakra, very genital. But remember, that's creative and sexual energy as well. But also a thing of deep transformation here. This, of course, as I said, can represent another person bringing this energy or representing this energy, but chances are it's more what's coming into your life, particularly with this oppression card as your lesson. Just saying. So what do the angels have to say about that? Good. Harmony. Harmony. So this is about a harmonious transformation. Does feel like you have the support that you need here, although there is a support card in the angel deck. Other cards can indicate it. Maybe that support is there through the Virgo as well. But definitely this Scorpio energy, though, if it is a person, feeling it's more harmonious. Maybe someone who's been to hell already. You know, like I can't date people who haven't been to hell and back. We don't understand each other, right? Until you've had your heart smashed to dust, fuck pieces. They can be glued back together, right? Oh, weekend in the Hamptons and a bottle of wine can fix that shit if you're playing right. No, it can't. But you know what I mean? When your heart is dust, you can't glue dust back together. But when your heart opens, it's a galaxy of stars rather than just this shape, right? So someone who's been through hells, perhaps somebody who has already been there, perhaps this is a spiritual teacher, one who helps bring harmony in, but is coming in. And if that is the case, they need not be there in physical form. They need not even be alive. You could read the Yoga Sutras of Patanjali, or Wayne Dyer no longer in the physical body, or Louise Hay no longer in the physical body, right? Don't have to be literally there, but as well could be just someone who walks into your life, or somebody you already know, who can harmonize, who can sympathize, who can understand. Particularly Scorpio, whether or not they're a literal Scorpio, there could be what? An emotional bond, an empathic understanding there. Let's look at this Virgo. Why not? I love looking at Virgos. I am one. Here we go. This Virgo card in the 6th position. What is before you on the path, right? What's up ahead? Dreams. So this can very much be about a practical application of life dreams. Can it mean sleeping dreams? Absolutely. It's just a little on the nose for me every time to see the card of the dreams saying, pay attention to your dreams. Why? Because I can't. I don't remember them. I do not remember my dreams. Like, it has to be an American Horror Story season for me to remember a dream, right? It has to be like something where I wake up, I go, what the fuck was that? Because that's, I think, the only way I can know my guides want me to pay attention to a dream, is I remember it. Otherwise, I don't remember them at all. So that's why I tend to interpret this card more in terms of life aspiration. Like, what are your dreams, your heart's desires, right? What are, if you could do anything, if you had all the money in the world, you never had to worry about bills or health, what would you do with your life? That kind of stuff. And as ungrounded as that sounds, bringing it into a Virgo practicality, a mutable earth, a shifting, changing form, that occupies, keep in mind, life dreams aren't just about money and occupation, although no one would think that with the Virgo card there, whether it's a Virgo person connected or not. But think about your dream home or your dream life, right? Or who you want to be, particularly with all the spiritual growth. You want to be more unconditionally loving? Well, then you're going to have to learn how to love what rises within you and detox your own personal emotional baggage in order to heal. But as one of us heal, all of us heal. That's the quantum nature of the game here on planet Earth. So it's good that you have the support here for this, but this is kind of helping you bring your life aspirations into physical form. But here's what I'll tell you about Virgo. The physical element is sand, right? So this might be a slow and steady wins the race. In the Rider-Waite Tarot, the Virgo card is the Knight of Pentacles, the slowest moving knight, right? So slow and steady wins the race for sure with this one. Just like sand can, strip a table of its finish, but what does it take for a rock to become sand? A long time, a lot of friction, a lot of breaking down. So that thing, even one grain of sand at a time. Take your time on this. This is a longer process. Now, next month, you could get a path of true love reading and be about a total different area of your life and maybe a specific relationship. This really feels like a dream you're wanting to make come true. You're getting the spiritual transformation and the emotional bonding that you need to do it. Now it's like, okay, now let's start birthing my dream little by little by little, but in a practical way. Remember, you are the mothers of the zodiac, and that the language of creativity and the language of pregnancy is the same in terms of conception, gestation, labor, and birth, right? The different stages. And there are other stages in there as well for both. But I find that the language of, like, if you're going to create, I don't know, a book, a recipe, a song, anything, it's those same words. You conceive, you gestate, you labor, and then you give birth, and it takes on a life of its own. So really interesting microcosm, the cross itself. This should help illuminate the staff. As your lesson, you've got the card of oppression, which we talked about, that card of the devil, right? Even in the Rider-Waite deck, the devil card, if you look at the little devil Adam and devil Eve, they're wearing chains around their necks, but they're very loopy. They could just like, whoop, and walk away. This woman might have a little bit time getting all those rocks off of her, but if she's only oppressed, not dead, she could move those rocks off of herself and walk away. She might have to walk through some burning gates, but the gate doors, I don't know if you can see it in the distance, they're open. So there is this thing of you can walk away from this. So what do the angels have to say here? Fuck, retreat, run away. Not run away from, but run into. Retreat into the oppression in order to free it. Now, if this means walk away, now let me just clarify something here. If you are being physically abused, physically neglected, like not fed physically, not paid, physically neglected, emotionally abused or neglected, mentally abused or neglected, spiritually abused or neglected, take up your bed and walk. It is a spiritual test. It is a lesson for you to retreat, to walk away from anybody who is not... look, everybody has bad days. I'm not talking about that. I am talking about a true abusive situation, like you're being hit, you're being beat, you're being stolen from. Any kind of boundary violation like that, Path of True Love is going to serve those up. Sometimes it's walk away. Sometimes walk away is in fact, a lot of times walk away. Even if it's like, okay, I don't care if I have to move in with my parents or stay with a friend. I need to get the fuck up out of this environment. I need to retreat. I can walk away from this oppression. At least to get help, at least to see things differently. And if you really have this support group, I wasn't going to use that word, but here it is, this emotional bonding through divine guidance with other people, then by all means do that. Now that might not be for everybody in the collective, but that's how I roll. Because it's not just being loving to yourself to remove yourself from situations like that, but it's really even loving for the other person. You are one less person they're going to have to beg forgiveness from eventually, this life, next life. You know, you're not going to give them the opportunity to do harm. Yes, they may harm somebody else as well, but you don't have control over that. You could really make it a thing of love. It's like, no, I need to get away from you so that you don't hurt me, so that you don't hurt yourself when you hurt me, right? That sort of thing. It's the unity consciousness thing, and it's totally standing in strength and self-esteem, and a huge lesson on the path of true love. I'm a big guy. I'm like 6'1" in my combat boots because I still wear mine. You know, and I'm intimidating as fuck apparently. I don't see myself that way. And we'll see how others see you in a place of finding balance here. But that doesn't mean, I don't often get abused, but I get neglected. And neglect is harder to walk away from because it's harder to catch at first. Just saying, still oppressive. From the outside looking in. How do others see you? This Two of Pentacles balance. What say the angels? Playfulness, though. It's like, all right, I may be a bit of a toe dipper. Again, all of our minor arcanas here are aces. We've got a deuce here, right? We've got a 3. So it's sort of like, all right, well, let me play with this. Now, maybe not the joyful, playful, giggly kind, but that thing of playing the balance, finding your balance. Maybe not all in, but in that place they gave me the word considering. Now, remember, this is physical. This is earth sign stuff. It's pentacles. So getting your shit together, perhaps ready for a move, right? Sort of getting, and with this Virgo card, it does make sense. That there's definitely giving some practicality to this, some form to making your dream come true, which might very well be about retreating from a devil situation, codependent, toxic, drugs, alcohol, what have you, some kind of chain, psychological or symbolic. But that from the outside looking in, if that's a front that you're doing so that you can get away, excellent, great job, right? You never have to let people know that you're running for your life. If you're running from your life, play along, but keep your balance. Path of true love ain't no joke, honey. People think it's all, oh, I'm going to get what I want. Maybe. You're going to get what you need, that's for sure. And you can't avoid the path of true love if you're on it, because it's just under your feet no matter where you go. Speaking of which, Hero's Journey, the Destiny position here, we've got the Witch, and the Witch with listening. Oh boy. So, okay, I'm getting 2 different reads on this. I think both are applicable no matter who you are. Number 1, absolutely listen to your wisdom. Listen, decide to listen, right? Remember, active participant with the card of the Magician in this deck, the Witch. Listen, right? Soft of eye and light of touch, speak ye little, listen much. The Wiccan Reed, poetic version, Doreen Valiente, right? So observe, listen to what's not being said. Listen to the silence. I mean, there's a lot in there with listening. But it's also know that your guides have been listening. Right? Every prayer is heard, every prayer is answered. So make sure that if you are going to participate, as the card of the Magician does, there is an active will, an intention here, an initiation of sorts to initiate something, to know that you're being heard, that you're making ripples in the universe here. So if you go to the divine and, for instance, say, help me break these chains, get me the fuck up out of here, while you're sort of fronting, maybe keeping things in balance, playing the game, playing along, so that things don't get too dangerous or violent. Totally could see that happening. Just know that you are being heard, but then what's going to come of that in terms of your outcome? It's going to still take some analysis, another 2. So keep in mind you have 2 2s and 2 aces and a 3. This is the initial stages of something. What do the angels have to say? Divine timing. Fuck. Look, you can analyze divine timing as much as you want, but sometimes divine timing is now. It's like you got to do it now. That you might, well, is this the right time? Is this not the right? Back and forth, back and forth. But like I said, with fencing here, you might have to try and take into consideration an abusive, toxic person. Now, does this mean it's romantic sexual? Nothing here screaming that. This could be a toxic boss. This could be a toxic family member. This could be a toxic friend that you just need to get the fuck up away from. But it's okay. You have the support system available somehow through divine guidance for your own spiritual growth. But for you, oh, now this body care makes sense now, doesn't it? You might have to leap for your own physical, psychological, mental, emotional, but most likely physical health and safety. And if that is the case, reach out. There are organizations there, but it feels like you have the friends to do this. Even if you have to be like, you know what, I'm gonna go stay with a friend for a couple of days. Gotta go. Bye. Run for your fucking life if you can. If not, there are services, social services you can go through. So with that divine timing thing, you might be trying to figure it out, but know that if it's time to go, it's time to go. I kind of know that it's that a contract with somebody is done in a relationship when I can't stand the sound of their voice anymore. Like, that's a nervous system thing. You don't even anticipate that, right? It's like, oh God, they're going to talk, aren't they, right? When they just, it's a sign of intuition. Caroline Mace, one of my favorite teachers, said misery is a form of intuition. Absolutely right. So an intense one, my Cancerians, and let's face it, you're water signs, so there's a lot of emotion going on here. Let's ask the higher selves. Your higher self is going to pick one of these Whispers of Love oracle that will hopefully give you a nice, clear directive. I love this deck. Please, nice deep breath. Oh. Still point. The higher selves of all involved. No joke in here. This is intense. This is an intense reading here. Definitely with that card of repression and retreat. If there is abuse going on here, here's your opportunity, higher self. Make it really, really clear. For the higher selves of all involved, please. One card in clarity. For this Cancerian collective, Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus sign on the path of true love for February 2020. What is their whisper of love? This one wanted to come out. Look at your pattern in relationships. No fucking shit. Look at your patterns in relationship. There it is. There it is. Look at your pattern in relationships. It requires inner strength to recognize that you need to change or modify your behavior. This feels like it's time to get out of Dodge. Or maybe kick someone out of Dodge, right? Depending on whose name is on the lease or who owns the house or however that shit goes. Not get a lawyer, right? If that's what it comes down to. If it is that sort of marriage, partnership, cohabitation thing. But it might be parental, right? Again, nothing here screaming. It's such the early stages of the minor arcana. I can only tell you the major arcana that you're going. You've got the devil, the fool, and the witch, right? Or in this case, the dreamer, oppression, and right, the dreamer is the fool, oppression is the devil, the witch is the magician. So this is saying you really need to look at your relationships, and it feels like with this divine guidance bonding card here that you have people that you can reflect with. Just ask for confidentiality. Just don't say, can you keep a secret? Say, do you vow by the gods that made you to keep this conversation in total confidentiality? Because then if they break it, they got to deal with the gods. Can you tell I was raised by a lawyer? Yeah. Okay, one last card down, and I think this will probably be helpful, one would think, because it's a healing mantra card. Matt Kahn, I love these. Love this deck. I can get no money. If I was getting money from this, I would say go down and buy it. They give me if you're allowed to do that. You know, I think some of them say you're not allowed to tell people if you've got an Amazon partnership. I don't know. I don't have one. But if I ever get one, I'll probably go click the link again. That being said, the voices of the Ascended Masters, those who have already played the game of planet Earth being human, right? already through the quantum maze of it all. Well, you call it corn. They call it a maze. Raised in the 70s. What do you want? So nice deep breath. We're going to get you a healing mantra. One side of the card is the mantra. The other side is the name of the mantra. So I could look it up in the book and give you the little piece of info in it, which is always helpful in my experience, at least so far. Let's do this. No shit. Nice deep breath. Take 2 or 3. Still point. My Ascended Masters, again, no joke, please. What is the healing mantra that will be most helpful for this Cancerian collective Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus signs on the path of true love? If they are being abused, neglected, codependent, I can see going to therapy and working it out, even for abuse and neglect if it's not extreme. But I'm really getting to get the fuck up out of Dodge here, or at least prepared to. So please, a piece of clarity. What is the most truly helpful healing mantra for this Cancerian collective Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus sign on the path of true love? True love for February 2020. I tried to put the word love and February together subconsciously. All right, here we go. Let's look. Activating the third eye. I am willing to see beyond my beliefs, ideas, and conclusions. I'm willing to see beyond my beliefs, ideas, and conclusions. I've had this one. So beliefs, ideas, and conclusions, BIC, BIC, like the pen or the lighter. That's how I remembered it. I am willing to see beyond my beliefs, ideas, and conclusions. So the idea that you're trapped there. The idea that this is the only, you've made the conclusion, right? Oh, that I have to stay. No, you don't. No, you don't. You don't have to stay in a place that's abusive, neglectful, codependent. But there is healing necessary, because by the way, if you just walk away from it and don't do the healing electromagnetically, why wouldn't it repeat? Just saying. All right, activating the third eye. I am willing to see beyond my beliefs, ideas, and conclusions. As your third eye opens, you are able to notice how each moment is a catalyst for your ever-expanding soul. Okay, through your third eye, you will be able to more clearly see the lesson each moment offers, allowing every encounter to help you become an even more radiant expression of your highest potential, which is a nice way of saying that this oppression moment says lesson in the lesson position. Is to make you better, and of course it is. And in the present moment, it may not feel that way. It may just feel fucking terrifying. But wait, where'd it go? Activating the third eye. Yeah, no, sorry, I jumped a page here. This is helping you express your highest potential somehow, and you have the support, both in spirit and in people, to help you with this. This mantra is ideal for dissolving personal judgments, developing more patience, and tempering inner conflict, like should I stay or should I go? I'm really getting the go here. Kind of feels like with the bull leapers, people are seeing with that playfulness, you're playing along while you're packing your bags and getting ready to go. But either way, in a quantum collective, in this case Cancerian, Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus signs, you are going to have to go a little bit more third eye with this, right? I am willing to see beyond my beliefs, ideas, and conclusions, which, by the way, can often facilitate third eye intuition. Now, I know I talk intuition much in the lower body, but that when we're talking clairvoyance is not down here. It's here. Clairaudience is really third chakra, right? It's speaking with the ear. That's connected. So to be willing to, are you willing to see this differently? Which, by the way, seeing things differently, help me see this differently, truly is the prayer for a miracle as far as the Course in Miracles is concerned. Just saying. So let's give you your overview, and I'll pop up the picture of the spread, okay? Magic clap. We start you off with the Three of Cups in divine guidance. That this bonding that you're making, that these emotional bonds you are making with others, this does feel plural, not just one person, are definitely brought together by divine guidance in this atmosphere of the Ace of Cups, happiness of spiritual growth. So definitely I know we're going to get to the lesson here with that oppression, but it does feel like where you are right now, you have a lot of beginning happiness. Like the clouds have parted and the shaft of light is coming through. Come through, take it, take the path of spiritual growth, even though it is just an Ace of Cups, a feeling of happiness. Because at the core, the third position, we've got the dreamer, the fool, really ready to initiate and start a whole new cycle here, but with body care. It may be that you really need to isolate yourself, get yourself away from some toxic people. Again, I can't take my eye off that oppression card with retreat, because the fool with body care, they are both major arcana cards. One's talking about body care, the other one's talking about retreat. They're right next to each other practically, with the activating third eye card in between. So you really want to pay attention to that mantra about seeing things differently. Moving to the fourth position here, we've got ideas and inspiration with the Ace of Blades, the Sibyl, right? The new thought coming in. So this all initiates from an idea, an inspiration, something that comes through that perhaps was revelatory, but again, only an ace, and it seems to have carried over into the present moment in the second position with that Ace of Cups with spiritual growth. Reflexing up to the fifth position, we've got in the Crown, Scorpio, transformation with harmony, some harmonious transformation, having to do with money, sex, and power. This totally could be about transforming a one-on-one relationship, romantic, sexual, or, familial, otherwise, stepping back from a parent. Like, I really have learned the hard way to trust my solar plexus and my second chakra when it says, get the fuck out of town. When my root chakra says, get the fuck out of town, I'm already gone. But that solar plexus, your personal boundaries and honor code are being challenged here. Second chakra, there's just something out and out toxic. You're not being honored. This is not honorable in any way, shape, or form. I'm getting that, the transformation here. And it does start deep inside, because it's that Scorpio piece of it. Personal transformation, but done for or in harmony. Maybe both. In harmony, for harmony, like not just sitting for a Reiki session, but perhaps even talking with somebody, a professional, about how to do this psychologically, how to prepare yourself, which of course would reflex perfectly into that eighth position card of the Bull Leaper's balance with playfulness. How to play this, how to play this particular scene in your life. Bringing you to the sixth position of that Virgo card of practicality. What is occupying you and what is affecting your health. So with dreams here, that you have dreams that want to manifest, that you kind of have to look at, is this possible? How do I make my dreams come true? How do I walk away from this in the dollars and cents bottom line? How much do I take? How much do I leave? Where do I go? That kind of stuff. Figuring out, which reflects again to the divine timing card in your outcome with the Two of Blades. So this might take a while to figure out the larger part of it, but again, we're still looking at initial numbers in the minor arcana here, reflecting with that Virgo card there, that this is the initial process. You may not be able to, let alone ready to bolt just yet if that is the situation, but you're certainly gathering the data to do this in a practical, safe, and healthy way, though it is going to occupy every moment of your time, I can only imagine. Out of the microcosm into the macro, here's the big one. We've got that card of the Devil, oppression with retreat. Really, the lesson is to retreat rather than go into and try and fight for and try and heal. Maybe it is a temporary retreat, right? A tactical retreat, so that you can regenerate. Perhaps retreat with the divine guidance bonding people in your Ace of first position there, with that Ace of Cups in the spiritual growth, to kind of pull back, to heal, to rejuvenate, and certainly with that Virgo card in the before you, the sixth position, that is indicated as a probability as well, but that you need to retreat to deal with this oppression, either by walking away, like a full-on retreat, or pulling back temporarily to get your shit together, which would be indicated again in this eighth position from the outside looking in, the Two of Pentacles. Balance, bringing yourself into balance, getting your shit together little by little, getting your finances together, kind of getting things together in general, but playing along, being playful, playing the game, doing what's necessary, but eventually going to have to take those horns, the bull by the horns, and flip over them to get over this and move on. And of course, where you are, that major arcana card of the witch, the magician, in the ninth position of destiny, where you are on the path in terms of the hero's journey, the destiny, the alchemy from fate to destiny, you are a participant here. You are an initiator of some kind. But with that card of listening, to please listen to the divine guidance and grace being given to you, but at the same time know you are being heard by the divine. So this is a big deal. I've always said, you know, the gods started taking me seriously once I took them seriously. And I think this is one of those readings, right? Where it's like, well, you got to look at what's more important to you, your spirituality, your well-being, your safety, or a relationship with someone. Yeah. Tricky shit. Tricky shit. Because your outcome card doesn't really indicate an immediate movement. It's analysis. The two of blades, back and forth, fencing with divine timing that you might just have to play it for a little bit while, keep your balance until you are out of this toxic situation. And what does your higher self say? Look at your pattern in relationship. It requires inner strength to recognize that you need to change or modify your behavior. So maybe this Virgo card and this card of retreat are about finding that inner strength. But with the healing mantra for activating the third eye, I am willing to see beyond my beliefs, ideas, and conclusions, that there is an unfolding of the divine plan here that you must participate in, and you will, whether you're aware of it or not. So take the time, be willing to work this mantra. I am willing to see beyond my beliefs, ideas, and conclusions. In other words, nothing is written in stone except the divine plan in the quantum field, which we have no idea. So from our perspective, nothing is written in stone. Those certain things are certainly written. Play your role, play your part, work with the inspiration, work with the ideas, work with the spiritual growth that's available to you and the emotional bonds, and whoever this Scorpio character is, whether if these are actual people, these might be, by the way, the people in this bonding card here, your first card down, really know that they can help you. They can help you get there, even if just through support of being a sounding board. So let me give you the blessing. I always give a blessing with these reads. May the Cancerian collective Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus signs, please, my gods, may they be blessed. My angels, may they be blessed with all that they need on the path of true love for February 2020, to learn the lesson of oppression and retreat, right? To get everything that they need in order to do this wisely and well. Should they need to abdicate, should they need to separate, should they need to divorce or run for their lives, may it please be done under grace and in perfect ways for their highest good and for the highest good of all concerned. May the angels surround them, may the gods guide them, may the higher selves uplift them, and may the masters direct them to the best and most blessed life possible on the path of true love, February 2020 and beyond, for the well-being of all. And so it is. So mote it be. Amen. Thank you so much for watching my Cancerian collective Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus sign. Again, please do like and subscribe. Check out the stuff in the description box below. I've got some cool vids on there, some stuff you might want to check out. Even my Vimeo stuff is on there, Vimeo on demand. I put, because it's Path of True Love, I have the 5 classes of the Path of True Love on there if you want to watch them. Otherwise, wishing you the very best and the very blessed as I sign off, as I always do. And I mean this particularly. I have so many Cancerians, lifetime case of crabs, my mom in particular. So loving you all so much, sending you my heart love. But for now, hail, farewell, and blessed be.